Welcome back, ladies. It's the end of week 7. We're heading into week 8, and tomorrow's the enhancement day. So we'll touch on enhancement day in just a moment. But I want to check in with all of you, because this week is really about listening, right? Listening to how our body was feeling. We talked about how people are kind of like in different stages. Some are feeling well, they're doing good, and some are not so good. Others are just feeling terrible. Some are kind of in the neutral category. There's a variety of things going on with each individual as we're going through the spring season. So I want to check in with you and see how things are going, and see if there's anything new awarenesses that you have throughout this week. So anyone want to go first? Tell us how their week's been. Go for it, Nancy.
So the thing that I noticed the most this week was that I feel lighter, but I don't feel lighter in my body necessarily. I feel lighter because my voice that is so, damning internally has gotten much more gentle. And also, I feel like there's a huge monkey off my back, with not having the cravings and not having to always decide what am I going to eat, and oh my God, and it's a whole dilemma. And also, I saw an interview with Serena Williams, and the interviewer asked her what her motto was, and she said, "Eat to live, don't live to eat." And and coming from her, who's somebody who doesn't, she talks about food, but it's not a food, that's not what she's known for. It's sort of interesting that there's definitely two ways to look at what you eat. And I think for my whole life, I looked at it one way, and now I definitely am looking at it a different way.
That's awesome. That's a huge transformation and a different perspective that, if you think about the different rules that we have in place, a rule that would probably serve you well, because, everything we put in our body is nutrition and needed to carry out all kinds of different reactions. So it is eating to live. And if we're not, eating to live, we're not fully living, I guess, right? So hopefully we can take that health to the next level. So that's some great awareness. And, that it sounds like the food devil has gotten quieter, but have you also thought about what additional new things that the food angel has as far as ammunition? If that sugar monster or food devil would come back, do you have some things to, offset it? Or have you even learned what that food devil would say?
Well, the other day, I guess it was even yesterday, I went to my refrigerator at 11 o'clock and thought, it's time for something to eat. Mm-hmm. And I stopped and said, wait, what kind of hunger is this? And, my stomach felt full. I didn't feel hungry that way. And by the time I was done with the conversation, I took my hand out of the refrigerator, closed the door, had a glass of water, and went back to my room and finished what I was doing, which was, I can't tell you that I've ever sort of aborted that process in the past.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. So so my food angel is just smarter than my food devil right now.
Very good. And have you, J-Lo saying that you look great, and I do see a difference in your face. You mentioned feeling lighter. Is there any other awarenesses as far as your body?
Well, yeah, I totally lost a chin. I don't even have the computer all the way up here like I usually do. So, I get on the scale, even though I was sort of warned not to.
I did
get on the
I was wondering.
Yeah, I did get on the scale, and the scale doesn't really move, but I definitely feel like I look better. But yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great job. We'll keep up the great work. And you feel like you're getting plenty to eat? Are you starting to add in some more variety and discover some new things?
Well, I think I have added in more variety in the proteins that I eat. Like I think I didn't eat that many animal products, and I'm definitely eating more meat now. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I had a piece of bacon, but the other morning I found, some sugar-free bacon and made myself bacon and eggs, and it was really yummy. And I just can't say when I've done that before. So yeah, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
And we've talked a little bit about your alkagizer. Is there any new recipes or some new veggies you're adding in as well?
Yeah, so I've been adding in sprouts, like a whole variety of different sprouts. And this morning I put in kale sprouts, and my alkagizer had a kind of a bite that I didn't love, but at least like I got that it tasted different. So that was worthwhile, you know.
Good.
But yeah, I'm trying to experiment, but I still prefer the children's variety.
Not a problem. So as we continue to go, it's about listening to our body, but also see what we can do from a gathering perspective. Finding new things, some new variety, new recipes, new markets, new shops, new places to go to, new grocery stores and restaurants, new menu items, things that you didn't even, just opening your awareness, you may not have realized it was there. You drive past it all the time and never even saw it. So there's some interesting things there that you may discover.
Cool.
Awesome. Nisha, you want to go next? Oh, you're still on mute though, Nisha.
And this would have definitely been one of those days where I would have indulged my monster, my sugar monster, and my devil, because I got a call quickly that my doctor could see me and they do a special stress test if I got up there in a half an hour. So I said, half an hour, I'll be there. And I jumped in the car with my alkagizer, my water and lemon, and my celery juice. So I knew I was taken care of and I was going to be safe. I got up there and they said, oh, bad news. Sorry, you can't get in to see the doctor. Now, in this kind of thing before, I would have gone immediately to the 7-Eleven or some store that had everything that I wanted to eat, to kind of say, screw you, and how could this happen to poor me? But instead, I had my drinks, and I changed the appointment in a calm way, and then driving home, I had another doctor's appointment. But what was so remarkable to me is I felt so self-contained and such self-care in keeping those drinks with me and knowing that no matter what happened, I was going to stick to my program today, because I'm really liking seeing the scale go down, even though it goes down very, very, very slowly. And so I was very aware today of being so grateful for learning the dialogue and learning to nurture the angel or the positive voice.
So that's great. It feels like a confidence boost. You're boosting your confidence, knowing that you've got that, I don't want to call it a crutch, but you've got that nourishment, nutrients to provide to your body and make sure that your body is taken care of. So
can I ask, what kind of hunger would this be? If I weren't doing this, I knew immediately it would have been anger, frustration, helplessness, and all those kinds of things. And I could have just stuffed my little face full of things. But thank you for this program. That's
awesome. And it's great that you're playing both sides. It's almost like, the past, the what if, and now because once you know that, it's not going to have an effect on you. And different situations will come up where those specific emotions will happen again. But you'll realize that, hey, when I have anger and frustration, I don't have to take care of it or satisfy it with food. and you can change that to satisfy it with something else. That's awesome. That's great. The other thing that you mentioned there, Nisha, is your perception on things. And this kind of ties in with stress. And, you know, we get things thrown at us all the time. So here's another curveball that was thrown at you, and you needed to be at your appointment in 30 minutes. And this added stress, make sure I got everything. Okay, I got to have the lemon water. I got to have the celery juice, the alka-jizer. I got to have everything to go. I got 30 minutes to get there. I don't know what traffic's going to be like. I got to find this and that. I got to, you know, all these things that I got to. And the perception that you had is a big difference in knowing that I don't have to overreact or get into that high stress state. So that's one of the things to take away from this as well is, you know, where is my stress level when these different things happen? Because emotions can cause stress in our body as well. Because once you got there and you did all those hoops, you jumped through all the hoops to get there, and now, you know, you're disappointed. So the anger and frustration can cause just as much stress in the way you react as well. So call it a change curve, if you will, in how we work through change. So this happens to anything gets thrown at us. And every one of us kind of goes through this valley of despair. One of my bosses would call that the valley of despair every time, but it's how fast do you work through that and get back up onto the other side that's hopeful and ready to go. So part of the journey is, you know, I think when Eric throws a curveball at us every Friday as to what the enhancements are, notice in the buffer zone, how quickly do you move through that change curve? And are we getting stuck down in the valley or making excuses? Or are we working our way through that quickly? Because change happens all the time and it's never going to stop. So how do we work through different changes to come back out on the other side and be ready to go? So I just thought that was another good point to point out as we go through changes on an everyday basis. Any other awarenesses you had this week, Nisha?
Well, just it ties into this, which is today I learned to make I call this my nurturing food. I don't like the word diet or whatever it is, but to make these drinks first, to take care of my food first before anything, because I don't know what's going to happen during the day. And I may have to leave like I had today. And that really taught me a big lesson.
That's awesome. You're putting your health as your priority, and you know your health needs those nutrients in those foods. So that's a great priority, and one that's going to continue to serve you. Call that a new rule. I would mark that down as one that will continue to serve you well. You feel like you're getting enough food in? Any new things you've tried, new recipes, new variety?
I started eating those crispy, I like everything crispy and crunchy. I learned that I really can't have the pork rinds in my house because I did not succeed in eating just one little plateful. I went back for more and then a little bit more. So I'm saying that's out for now. I can't remember what we were just talking about. I need brain food.
Any new things that you were trying? You said the new awareness that you had around
seaweed. I used to eat a lot of that seaweed crunchy little thingies, little small, and I stopped for a long time. And then I thought, well, I think that's okay. I wanted to double check with you that that's okay for us to eat, or because it is processed, but there's nothing in there but seaweed and salt.
Yeah, I would just look at the package like you just mentioned. What is in the ingredient list? And sometimes they add different oils. And I think we talked a little bit about the quality of oils, and you know, trans fats are definitely out, but the ones that are, you know, cheap, you know, sunflower oil, you know, safflower oil, you know, sunflower is a seed that is still, you know, WildFit approved. The problem is how we extract the oil from it, and the chemicals and different things that we do in order, the processing that it goes through. So it's not one of the best quality oils from a fat standpoint once we strip everything away from the rest of the sunflower seed. So the reason I'm bringing this up is sometimes the seafood snacks have oil with them in their processing. So if you can find one that's organic olive oil, great. And they're out there. I have some as well. So, just see if it's just plain seaweed, like you mentioned, just seaweed and salt, or if they're adding other things to it. And what's the quality of the fats that they're adding?
The other one question I just need clarification on is for the celery juice. I've been adding celery juice between the water, lemon water, and my alkagizer.
Perfect.
Now, I thought you said just put the celery in, just the celery itself. I have not been straining it through a cheesecloth or anything. I've just been drinking all the fiber and all the celery, and I wanted to know from you, is there a preference?
The only reason I strain the fiber out is just to, fiber slows down absorption. And, we want the fiber in our food in order to, feed the good bacteria, and we want the fiber in our fruit to slow down the absorption of the sugar. But from the celery, I want those nutrients to go to my liver and get as much of them as possible. So I purposely remove the fiber in order to get better absorption of the nutrients from the celery. Now I save all of that and just throw it in the alkagizer for later. But it's just because of the timing and the purpose, I just want to get better absorption from the juice. You're still getting it, as drinking the entire, celery with the fiber included. It's just an absorption thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great questions.
Can you just remind us why celery juice is good for you?
Sure. So celery is an herb, and one of the unique things about celery is the salt that is in it. You ever taste celery? It's a little salty. I don't know if you've had the celery juice. It's got a little. You may not have realized it, but it's salty, and there's a unique sodium cluster salt. It's the way the sodium is clustered together that is unique for celery, and it's pathogenic or anti-pathogenic in the sense that it kills pathogens, and it also helps with inflammation. But one of the main reasons I'm using it is the sodium and chloride in there can boost your stomach acid. Your body has to make stomach acid, so give it the raw nutrients it needs in order to make more stomach acid to better digest the rest of the food that you're going to have that day. But the inflammation is a great one. It kills off the bacteria and the viruses that are not good. So it also can help to dissolve different cysts and stones and things like that as well. Kind of like the D-limonene or the lemon oil will. Great question. Anything else you want to share, Nisha?
No, just gratitude.
Gratitude. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Who else wants to share? Michelle? How are you doing, V? You, how is the lightheadedness, the muscle aches, all of that going?
It's weird. So it's only in the morning, right? So I get up, I have my lemon water, I brush my teeth, wash my face, do all that stuff, get the girls ready. And so it's probably, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour. Well, probably an hour and a half until I eat. And I find that as I'm walking down the stairs in the morning, my thighs are just tired, as if I have done exercise. And I've just gotten up out of bed, got dressed, and got the girls ready, And it reminds me of when I was younger, and I used to eat like carbs for breakfast, and maybe a cup of coffee. I would get like jittery, and I guess my blood sugar dropped, right, and I would get lightheaded, and just my body wasn't really functioning well. And so that's what it kind of feels like. But then I get hot sweats, whatever, heat flashes, that's what they're called. And so that's, but it's mostly in the morning. So is it just related to blood sugar, you think, or is it?
Well, remember, our body controls blood sugar and how our liver is producing blood sugar with cortisol.
Mhm.
So it could be a little bit of an adrenal fatigue going on, in the sense that they call it the cortisol awakening response. How high does your cortisol spike when you wake up? Because cortisol is what keeps you awake during the day and gives you energy and allows you to go. So if your awakening response is kind of like a little hill, it's not really a big spike. You're in the 45 minutes or an hour, you're burning through it all and crashing, basically. So I bet there's some things going on there that we want to, support your adrenal glands a little more. And it's you have to fix your adrenal glands first before you can fix your thyroid. And this may have been, I don't know your entire history as to what's going on with your thyroid, but there could have been roots in all of that with your cortisol to begin with. So especially, what made me think of it is I felt like this when I had coffee. Well, yeah, you're definitely, taxing your adrenal glands when you do that. So it still can be a sign of a little bit of low blood sugar, but it's your cortisol that's supposed to get your blood sugar back up.
Okay.
So not to mention the other things, there's more tests I would want to do. And I mentioned the whole thyroid panel to you, but from a cortisol standpoint as well, there's also nutrients, like magnesium for one, from a muscle energy perspective. I talk about magnesium so much, but magnesium is involved in over 300 different reactions in the body. And we actually need it inside our cells to produce energy. It's part of the citric acid cycle. And to carry that ATP around from one reaction to the next is magnesium. So not having magnesium or a level of magnesium in all of our cells, you might be taking it, but it still has to be in the cell where the cell's using it to make energy. So there can be a little piece of that in there as well. The thing is, a lot of times when things manifest, there's more than one cause going on, and a lot of times it's a culmination of a lot of things. So Chris's comment about detoxing can be right on as well, because first thing in the morning, remember your liver is packaging everything up and detoxing while you sleep. And you get up in the morning and you're trying to flush those out and get rid of them. And maybe you don't get them all flushed out that you thought, and they start to get unpackaged again. And now you're feeling it from a toxin standpoint, because we didn't get them eliminated from the body. So I could
then waiting for fat later in the day would be good, right? So I'd leave my liver some more time to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so you remember the whole fruit scenario, and different seasons give different organs a break. And spring is definitely a season to give our pancreas a break. Spring is pancreas with the insulin, but it does make it a little bit harder for our liver and our adrenal glands. So that's why the key is listening to our body. And if if we need to, you're going to have options here, coming up where you'll be able to switch things around and see how you feel. Remember, a lot of us are focused on weight loss, and I want to release weight, but weight is the last thing to go unless your body's healthy. You have to get healthy first, and then the weight releases. So if you need to be in a different season in order to fix your liver or in order to fix your adrenal glands, that's the season you need to be in order to fix those things. And then when you're healthy, then the rest of it will come off. So don't forget, it may not always be a spring season that will serve everyone the best.
Totally. And fall would help, right? Because of the fruit and the lower fat.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do a vegetarian fall. So get rid of the meats and stuff like that. So cool. Okay, thank you.
And a lot of times, people start to self-medicate with food based off of their adrenal glands not functioning well. Sugar cravings start and things like that, and they feel that they're having a dip in blood sugar when really they're having a dip in cortisol because their adrenal glands can't go anymore. Their body could have produced the blood sugar that they need, but there's quite a few people that I talk to that are looking for that cookie or for that extra piece of sugar in any form. Some people also are exercise junkies. I have to go run or I have to go do the exercise in order to feel better. So I get that shot of adrenaline so I can keep going. And I see some head nods as we agree. So this week was about listening to your body. So listen to your body and see where you think you need to be. And as you learn the different seasons and how they affect your body, you get to choose what season you want to be in.
I have one more question about the cortisol. I mean, that's the stress hormone. I don't think that there's a shortage of stress in my life. So is it possible that I could actually be low on cortisol, or maybe it's just in the morning after I wake up?
Maybe I should quit calling it the stress hormone. Yes, it is the hormone that is, puts you in fight or flight mode and is stress, but it's the hormone that we have to have it all the time as well. It's not bad, terrible in the sense it's controlling our blood sugar, and it's natural for our body to have that response, so that we can run away from the lion or whatever it is. But to your point, Michelle, it's not always a psychological stress. It can be a physical stress as well. It can be underlying inflammation that is just in your gut from a food sensitivity. It can be an infection that might be going on. It might be, arthritis in a joint or anything that's causing extra, stress on your body on a regular basis. That your body just has to deal with and is producing extra cortisol all the time in order to deal with it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What other things? Any new awarenesses this week?
I'm still really digging. I'm being very consistent with my food, which I know is going to get boring and bite me in the rear soon. So I need to start getting more in. But I am just loving the salads I'm making. I'm doing a cold water with lemon and then a hot water with lemon, to replace my morning tea or coffee or whatever it is. And the Alka-Geyser. I threw broccoli in it this time. I have never thrown broccoli in, but this was broccoli I had roasted, and I don't like it left over because it's not crispy and delicious. So I was like, oh, I'll just throw it in the Alka-Geyser, and that was yummy.
Good.
So no, it's funny, in my family, they all laugh because what are we eating for dinner? And my husband goes, chicken and vegetables. This was last time. So I need to switch things up a little bit, but work and kids being home and all this snow, I'm just on autopilot. So I need to spend some more time to plan. And planning is totally, if I do not plan, Friday, I planned the week. And if I don't do that and go food shopping, then I have no ideas, at 5 o'clock when I'm supposed to be cooking dinner. So, yeah.
Keep sharing, everyone. I'll continue to share recipes. Check out Pinterest. Find those things that you enjoy, that you want to add to the routine. There may be some Eric jokes about having pancakes on Sunday when it rains, or different things along those lines. But at least start to get a routine. Okay, I'm going to have this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday. At least that's a start, and you can only build upon it. And then it becomes every other Monday and every other Tuesday, and you just continue to build.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always had pizza on Fridays growing up, and then it happened here too, because after a long day of work, I don't want to cook. now this is the beginning of the weekend. But that I'm okay with switching in and out. I'll get salad with grilled chicken. Or like we talked about, making that pizza that, cauliflower, or gluten-free and cheese-free pizza. So that I think I can break, but yeah, those rules, they keep popping up.
We love to shortcut decision making. So just, take a look at them and see if they're serving you well or if they're not. Awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
J-Lo, I see your hand. Did you want to share something?
Yes, first of all, you gave me a heart attack when you show your, you cannot see it, that chimichurri sauce. I thought it was a new Alka-Geyser. I glanced at it and I'm like, oh no, that looks disgusting. Like I'm thinking of like, I had to like eat this like chunky Alka-Geyser next week. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it's a chimichurri sauce. But anyway, on Alka-Geyser, I don't know if it's like my taste buds are changing, but I added a little bit more coconut water in addition to the water, and it's tolerable now. So
Good.
I drink it. I'm not saying I'm loving it, but I'm drinking it and I'm quite enjoying it a tiny bit. So
Tiny bit.
that's
It's
success.
growing.
Yesterday was the first time that I felt that energy you've been talking about. Like you've been talking about this energy, and I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. But yesterday, finally, I found it. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
It was really good. But then I taught a class and then I crashed. I think all the energy like went to that class.
Mhm.
So, but I know that I probably overdid it. Like you told me to take it slow. I just don't know how to teach a class in low motion. So anyway,
Well, when you're
I'm happy
teaching
to.
Yeah, that does make it a little more difficult.
Yeah, it was hard. But anyway, again, I told you I'm only teaching once a week, so it's okay. I wanted to share something. Oh, yes. So my husband has been on a health kick as well, which is really cool. So he bought all these chips, and I'm like, okay, but I'm looking at cauliflower chips. I can do cauliflower. Well, I ate a handful, and then I'm like, this tasted too good for spring. There's something here. And today I realized that even all the ingredients were like super natural, but they had cassava flour. And I'm like, oh, that's why I was enjoying it so much. So anyway, I'm going back to the pork rinds.
Okay.
And then on the ketones, so I got the strips. I'm not like very dark. Like I'm in ketosis, but kind of on the light side.
Okay.
Is that okay? Did I
That's
get
fine.
a B plus?
Yep. You just want to have pink. If you have any ketones at all, you're into
Yeah.
the pink
Yeah.
zone. So, from a intentional movement standpoint, as we get more, energy demand on the body, there's also the mitochondria that are going to get used to burning ketones. It can get darker. So what I've noticed is if you do more exercise in the sense that you stay in an aerobic state and you're not getting out of oxygen, you can really boost your ketone levels. I've gone for hikes, with Boy Scouts and, backpacking for, all day long, walking miles with a heavy backpack on, and test my ketones later on, and they're, 3 maybe, or something like that. So optimal, I mean, if you were checking your blood and want to have the best, from a, energy usage, it's from a 1 to 3 level. But, I've tested mine just on a regular day, not sitting around, not doing anything, and it's anywhere between 0.6 and 0.8. So if you want to get that up, then the intentional movement comes in, and starting to walk some more. And like I said, just hiking is, and some things that the timing of it can be helpful as well. So doing the 30-minute walk, first thing in the morning on a fasted state, or going for a walk, 15 minutes after you eat. Any carbohydrates that were in that meal, you're just going to burn up, quickly and get right back into ketosis. That's something you can actually do in summer, and we'll talk more about summer later on. But if you are doing more exercise, and putting the carbohydrates next to the exercise, you'll burn through them and store them as glycogen in your muscles, not store them away as fat. So another easier way to manage what's going in and out of your body.
Okay, great.
So how about this alkagizer? You're adding in some coconut water, which is great. That's fine. It's tolerable, but there's definitely an emotional reaction when you see the chimichurri sauce and you're like, OMG. I was just talking to Nisha about, we don't need to have such a severe reaction all the time.
No, I mean, honestly, I told you, I'm only doing one in the morning and I'm still doing it as medicine, but I do a lot of veggies during the whole day. So I'm not concerned about the intake of veggies. It's just the texture. And now it's not as chunky, so it's good. So when I saw the chunky back, I'm like, no. So that was more of my reaction.
And I think the last time we met, you mentioned the Ninja, and I kind of feel you, because I told you I visited my parents and they had the Ninja and I didn't like it either. So tell your husband, and for your birthday you want a Vitamix or something like that.
I will. I don't know where I'm gonna start placing all the stuff that I've been buying for this. But and I have something I'm happy to announce, because every weekend, I think I told you guys, we had a popcorn and wine date, right? Friday and Saturday. Mm-hmm. Now it's a cooking date. So we're taking those nights to find a new recipe, either something that you recommend or something we find. And we have replaced that with that, and it's been super nice.
Perfect. Rachel and I have done that as well, where you have your dinner and you've cooked it together, and that's part of the process, just taking the time to cook it together. Great win. So how did Valentine's go? I know you were off to celebrate Valentine's Day. Everything went well?
Right. So I mentioned in the previous call, the day with my husband. Yeah, with the family is fine. We went to Olive Garden. That's where they wanted to go. So I told the lady, I want the salad, but not the dressing. Nothing, just like the green, and then please bring me oil and pepper, and I'll do something. And she's looking at me like, really? Just the salad? Yes. And then I asked for salmon and veggies, and again, can you just don't use butter? And she's just looking at me like, that's it? I'm like, yes. I'm looking all it. But yeah, I was able to enjoy a really good, healthy meal. First time I leave Olive Garden not feeling like a big, sloth. I don't know.
And Olive Garden's tough. I've been.
It is.
I've been there before as well, and I mean, they have the buckets of salad, right? But there's all the same dressing, and the dressing's got Parmesan cheese and everything already mixed in with it, and it's like, I was that individual as well. So you got oil and vinegar, and they're trying to find just plain oil and vinegar to bring out to the table. So
she thought it was crazy. But yeah, she brought me everything as I wanted it, and it was good. I had a really good meal.
Great. So that's part of the gathering experience, trying out these different restaurants and looking at the menu items, asking what you can do. And now you've got some items that you can go to when you go to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
So keep adding them to the list. You. Great. Thanks, JLo. Who else wants to share? Joan's ready. Joan, if you're talking,
we can hear you.
Wrong little microphone. There's this microphone up there, and there's a microphone down there.
We can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Since you disappointed me and I had to give away all my fruit and root vegetables, and and it took me a week to get over that. I'm not quite over it, but anyway, I've been doing well, and the keto progression got all the way up to the rosy colored one a couple times, and I'm going, woohoo, okay. So, but I've had this problem, and I think I mentioned it once before, of feeling with the Alka-Seltzer, I'm feeling like I have a burning in my stomach. You know, it's really not, I'm not happy with it. And it's gotten worse and worse. And to the point yesterday and today, yesterday especially and today, I really would just lie back and hold my stomach. And if I felt like speaking my mind, I would go, because it hurt a lot. And it hurt so much that I made an appointment with my acupuncturist.
Okay.
Because I have a hiatal hernia and GERD, and you know it's something that I'm watching. And so this morning, while I was lying back and going before a call to my friends who are here with us, suddenly on my screen of communication from self to self is that maybe I should try less ginger.
Yeah. That burns a little.
Well, it burns a lot if you're Joan and you take a thumb of ginger for every bucket of Alka-Seltzer. So I thought, oh God in heaven, because the rule is ginger is good no matter how much. I love ginger. You know, when I do sushi, I have a pile of ginger. I just love ginger, you know, whatever kind. This is different. Directly applied to all my stomach parts early in the morning. Ouch. So from now on, I'm not going to put any ginger in at all till I heal. I went to the acupuncturist and she heard me sing after she cupped and poked my body because that took away a lot of the heat. It was just it was wonderful. I mean, I feel ever so much better. So I'm not contemplating weird things like weird surgeries or whatever. So anyway, that was just interesting to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you talk about rules, I don't, that category has a lot of outsider things that don't get put in the rule thing.
Yeah.
So paying attention to my rules a little bit more.
Good.
Yeah. And it's a fun thing. The thing I like about WildFit is that it's fun.
It
For
is.
me, it is. I mean, it's exploratory, it's annoying sometimes, but mostly it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't it?
Great.
I like it a lot. So
I have fun. That's why I do it. So I'm glad you're having fun. And you're right on. I think that if you're a curious individual, it just continues to spark more curiosity. So great job listening to your body and you know, deciphering, you know, what's going on. You know, I could have jumped to a bunch of different conclusions, but it sounds like you found one that is working for you. So yeah, those rules, you know, they do come in there because, you know, we just go through with it. It is the shortcut to decision making, and we don't make the decision anymore. We just put it in there. That's just what I do. Ginger goes in the Alka-Seltzer. I have it first thing in the morning. You know, you don't think about what ingredients you're going to put in there or, you know, how you might adjust it. It's just a rule that you have. And one of them that you, like me with garlic, it's, you know, more is better. So let's put it into everything. So
yeah, right.
You haven't really tried your experiment yet, though, have you, Joan?
No. Today is when it blossomed. But I have a big smile because I'm not in pain, and I've been in pain for a couple of weeks. Okay. And sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it's not so really bad. But right now it's not bad at all. So I'm happy about that. And I'll report to you soon.
Sounds good. Let us know how the weekend goes, and we can continue to dig and find out what's going on. So that's awesome.
Yep. I don't understand how we get hiatal hernias. You know, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But that's for a different venue.
Yeah, I can look into some things there too.
Well, yeah, because when I'm exercising, what do I want to say? I mean, 3 times a week, I have this CrossFit exercise for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was burning so bad, I was feeling really kind of down. because I was thinking that exercise was part of that. But then I thought, no, weight's part of it, because that's going to be right there by the hernia. Opening the way for the rest of my guts to come pushing through. I don't know. And so, yes, I got lots of questions.
Yeah, it makes me think, more muscle related. But I'll see what we can find.
All right. Thanks.
I say we because Rachel's just as curious as I am.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing, Joan.
Yep.
Glad you had some, epiphany.
Yes, epiphanies.
So LeBlanc or Chris, Leah, Michelle wants to go? Go ahead, Michelle. Tell us about your week.
Well, last week I had chips.
Yeah.
I went off. The next day, it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions. The next day I had bell peppers and I thought, oh shit, I did it again. Then I realized, oh no, they were green peppers. So we're okay. And then last time I had to deal with the hurricane without electricity. Now we're in this like cold spell down here, which we don't normally get. We're conserving electricity. So I'm sitting here bundled up because there's a shortage between here and Texas. And then Mardi Gras passed, and I crave king cakes all the time at Mardi Gras. And I was telling you the other day, it's like, I just want a piece no matter what. Been walking by them for weeks. So I say, go ahead and get it and put it in the freezer. And so that's what I did. So I got it. It's like, well, you can't have it now, but there it is. It's in your freezer.
Maybe
so
later.
At a later date, you can have it. So I was trying to figure out how to deal with it. It's like, okay, but it's an emotional tie because Mardi Gras, that season as a kid throughout our lives, it was like always a great time. It was a day that everybody had off. It was bigger than Christmas, Easter. I mean, city shuts down, so everybody's home.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody was home because of COVID reasons and you couldn't go out. There was no flow. I mean, there was no, Mardi Gras season like normally we have.
And everything. Yeah.
So totally different this time. So everybody's like weirded out. It was just, so then dealing with all these emotions of that. So then after I did the chips, it was like the grain-free ones. And then it's like, okay, we can't do this other than that day. So I didn't do any more. King cake still in the freezer. And I jumped back on the deep spring alkalizers. So I haven't really done any other route or any of the other stuff. So, but it's still a roller coaster ride of emotions right now. But I realize as long as I hang in there, it's like, and not sabotage what I've done. That's what I'm trying to do. It's like not sabotage the good that I've done. So I think that's been a pattern in the past. I'll do things well for 6 months, then all of a sudden I'll do crazy stuff. It's like, okay, let's go off, celebrate or whatever. But you're not really celebrating, like Erica's saying. If you're gonna celebrate, do it for something that's really worth celebrating for. So now I'm just staying on track again. I haven't really done it. I mean, I'm not doing the lemon water. I'm not doing the celery water. I'm just trying to keep it basic and in my range of affordability. So this time what I did instead to celebrate Mardi Gras, it's like, get something really healthy that you haven't eaten in a while to celebrate. So I got some ground lamb that I'm, sauteed it, did the water stuff. I've been cooking with the water, onions and all that stuff. Put some portobello mushrooms and then throw it on some bok choy, So finding healthy ways of celebrating. It's like, okay, I can't do this, but let's do that. So
did it fill that gap as far as excitement or something new, something you were looking forward to?
Well, I love lamb, but I just don't eat it a lot because it's expensive. So when I did it and then I sauteed the bok choy a little bit and then I threw it all together, it's like, oh, this is really good, So I was still excited.
Good.
I could have eaten more, but it's like, well, no, you're full. It's like, but I'm making it okay. It's like, if you want to eat a lot of vegetables, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's vegetables.
Yep.
You'd have a lot in the alkalizer anyway, but sometimes that's what I'll do if I just want to eat, have that idea of just eating and crunching on stuff. I'll just add a ton of vegetables to it. And maybe not have the alkalizer later, but just eat a lot of vegetables. Plus, I use chopsticks sometimes, so I'll take my time in eating. So I use my chopsticks and just slow down the process of eating it.
That's a great idea. My daughter does that, and you know, it adds another challenge, another layer to the evening meal. So she's playing around with hers. You know, one thing you mentioned there around king cakes and Mardi Gras and special occasions, but these rules that we have, you know, it's something how the geographic location or society in that particular area influences so much of our rules then, and you know, just the things that we have in place. Because I don't know if it's me, but no one even mentioned Mardi Gras here, or you know, haven't ever seen a king cake before. So you know, it's just something how you know, it's such a special thing for you and your past experiences that you've had around it, and you know, just trying to uncover, you know, what's all involved with that, because it probably is fun to have the parades and the colors and everything that is going on during Mardi Gras. So just interesting to see how you know, everyone's experiences are just a little bit different.
And it's cold. We don't get this kind of cold normally.
Don't get that cold.
No, I mean, pipes are breaking, water heaters. I mean, even in like relatives in Texas, without heat, without water, without electricity.
Yeah.
But during the first WildFit challenge, I had to deal with the hurricane and go without electricity for 3 days. And I felt like I was like in the bush. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to have that little electric blender that I could blend stuff in, which was hilarious. I had just gotten it the week before on Amazon. And it worked out like I wanted it for camping, and I did use it for camping.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome.
And even bundling up to go walk outside, I realized it get cold fast. So trying to figure out a way of, you know, when you layer too much, you get cold still, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. You sweat and you get cold.
Yep, especially if you sweat, yes.
So just trying to figure out that part too, how to layer effectively.
Sometimes so many layers on, you cut off the circulation and there's no more blood flow.
Hence the hat, scarves, shirts, and heater by the foot. So.
Well, it sounds like you're doing great in adapting, because life happens, right? And there's all kinds of things being thrown your way. So you've prepared for some of these things in the past. We've talked about, you know, hurricane preparation. So it doesn't matter what storm it is, you're ready for it. So great job. Very good. Carrie joined us as well. Carrie, we got a few minutes here. Is there anything you wanted to share?
Sorry, I was teaching. It's fun. It's funny that when I started the, you know, this, I mean, I bought those strips and I'm in the ketosis and all that, and I've dropped 15 pounds. But I'm ticked off that nothing's dropped the last week. I remember he sent in the video, and I said it's not going to be. And I look at it and go, shit. I thought I'd, you know, because I was dropping a couple pounds every day. And then I start to question, you know, what I'm doing, because like I'll make eggs in the morning, but I put a ton of vegetables. I put onion, I put garlic, I put tomatoes, celery, there's spinach, and I put all that in there, and I might have some sausage. And I'm not hungry at all at work anymore, but I drink the 2 alkalizers, and I might force myself to have some peppers with butter, like you said. or hummus. I have hummus. And I was just digging around. I'm wondering if any of those things I'm eating if this is normal, or any of those things that I'm eating is slowing the process down, like the peppers or something like that. I don't know. But I thought it would continue to drop off. Like, it was beautiful at the beginning. I said, this is great. And then all of a sudden, nothing.
All of a sudden it slowed down.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of variables, right? There's the stress and the hormone that we talked about previously, but one of those is insulin. Now, yeah, from a carbohydrate standpoint, hummus is a little more from a carbohydrate standpoint. Peppers and tomatoes maybe a little more from a carbohydrate standpoint, but how we're balancing it with each meal is also important. So I think the other thing is, how are things going from an intentional movement standpoint? Are you up and moving around all day?
Yeah, well, I'm a therapist. So I'm working all day, but in the morning I worked out, and I'll work out tomorrow morning. I got my second vaccine, so I couldn't work out the last 2 days. So I just started again today.
Okay.
And I've been busy a lot with all these lectures, so there could be a bit of stress. I teach in Tokyo tomorrow online, so I just got all these things I'm doing. So there could be a little stress.
Yep, for sure. So, and the other thing is, remember as your weight loss goes, it kind of goes in stair steps, and you can continue to be using triglycerides. It's just the fat cells haven't died off or ruptured, or the balloon hasn't popped, so to speak, to release the extra water weight. So just know that you're on the right track, and the things that you're doing are working. Why do we have to put a timeline on everything? So we have, even having all those things I just mentioned, the peppers, the tomatoes, the chickpeas, all those things, they're still good for us. They're still giving us all the nutrients and things that we need. So, if you were a hunter-gatherer and you came across them, you're going to eat it, right? You're not going to say, well, this is not the right season, I'm not going to have this yet. So, from a timeline perspective, we create that extra stress. So don't necessarily, look at the scale and say, oh, I have to lose another pound or 2 this week. We're creating that. Your body will continue to seek its balance. So know that.
How did you lose it? Did it come off in increments or what? Yeah.
There would be sections where it would kind of slow down for a while, and then all of a sudden it would release again. So, yep, not to worry.
I feel lighter, which is interesting. And then I get on the scale and I'm not, but I had to, my pants, I actually had to tie it tighter, my scrubs. And I noticed that I had to tie it tighter because they were falling down. So something's different. I feel lighter, but no weight loss last week.
Weight's a terrible measurement. It kind of gives us an idea what trend we're heading on, but maybe you stored away some extra nutrients, or had some extra water on your body, or it could have been extra muscle, could have been all kinds of things. So
okay.
Not to be too concerned. Now, I mean, if it continues and you want to dig in deeper into what's going on, we would look at the food closer. We look at the exercise, et cetera, et cetera. So, and also remember, as you get closer to your ideal body weight, it does slow down. It is not as fast. The other thing I haven't mentioned is, remember, all aspects of your body have to get the signal. Our body communicates through, hormones and things like that, and it's through our blood flow. So if you've got certain areas of our body that are not being perfused as well, they're not getting the message to release and to go away. So we always, from a survival standpoint, the area that we lose the weight in last is around our midsection or on our hips and things like that. So there's also, if you look at a thermal scan of the body, the area that is the coldest and has the, least perfusion, those places under your arms or around your midsection, they just don't have as much blood flow. So doing the walking and things like that increases blood flow, but anything really to help increase blood flow to those areas, if it's a massage or a hot shower or a hot bath or sauna or, whatever it is to get the blood flow moving in those areas is also helpful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we've come to the end from a time perspective. Tomorrow's Enhancement Day, and we are going to continue in spring. So keep going. The idea is to listen to your body, but also to gather some new things. So, what we've been talking about with, finding the new recipe, the restaurant, the store, the market, try a different market. Maybe you go to an Asian food market or a different culture. Maybe you try a different restaurant. So maybe you even also go to the store and you do the Google challenge. You find a new vegetable and you just buy it and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And you Google it and see how you're going to prepare it. So there's your homework for the weekend. I will see you all on Sunday, and we'll check in and see how you're ready for the next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Ryan. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.